What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another Blockchain Future. Hope you had a good day and a good week. Happy Friday. One of the videos that I've done that is a bit long is the Decentralized Finance Explained video, which is right here. And you can actually see that. It should be popping up on the right part of the screen right now. This video goes a little bit deeper into decentralized finance, and the reason why it's one of the longer videos is it's a pretty in-depth video going over the different aspects of decentralized finance. I wanted to go a little bit deeper into it, and I did find this site, DeFiPulse.com, which is pretty cool because it actually shows kind of an overview of the different areas of decentralized finance. Most of them are on the Ethereum platform, but the Bitcoin Lightning Network is on here. Some people would argue about Lightning being truly decentralized, but we don't need to get in the weeds with that. But it gets into lending, decentralized exchanges, derivative platforms, payments, and assets. So I wanted to kind of go through this list and the site. All of these platforms and the site is going to be linked in the description if you want to check them out. But as you can see, we have 329.2 million US dollars worth of assets locked up in the decentralized finance area. We have Maker being the number one player in the space with an 89.07% dominance. And each section is kind of split up here. So I'm going to start with lending. And you can see that it's made up of Maker, Compound, and Dharma. I've talked about all three of these platforms specifically in the Decentralized Finance Explained video. But I wanted to go a little bit deeper into those. So Maker, which I've talked about a lot, they are a decentralized autonomous organization on the Ethereum platform. And they're responsible for the DAI stablecoin, which I've talked about a lot. They are working on a few things, but one of the things that they're actually working on in the future is a multi-collateral version of DAI, because right now DAI is really being, the asset is being supported in a decentralized manner by Ethereum being the underlying asset. But they are in the process of tokenizing other assets in order to make a multi-collateral version of DAI, which will actually allow it to be even more stable than it already is. Another thing that I'm going to make a video on decentralized autonomous organizations in general. But one of the things that is cool about DAOs is that you can actually, if you hold the Maker token, you can actually vote on, like they just had a vote on the actual stability fee if they wanted to raise or lower it. And I believe the vote was to raise it. So it is a democracy in that regard. And it is a truly decentralized autonomous organization. I mean, you can see if I actually hit governance here, it asks me to log in with MetaMask. It'll pop up here in a second. So it actually is logging into the Ethereum network in order to vote, which is pretty cool. So check out Maker. Again, I think DAI is one of the better stable coins on the market because it is truly decentralized. I think Maker, I mean, they are the leader in the space for a reason. They have $293.2 million in assets, decentralized assets under their DAO. So they're doing really great things, and they're just going to grow from this point. Next on the list is Compound. Compound, which I've talked about as well. They are also a way to do borrowing and lending. They're a little bit different, though. You can take any one of these BAT, DAI, REP, which is Augur, wrapped ETH, or 0x, and you can loan these out and get specific interest back on them. And you can see DAI actually is the highest here. This is, and I said this before, this is an adjustable interest rate. 3.49% is what you would get if you were to purchase DAI at an exchange and then lock it into Compound for interest. Or if you were to open up a CDP on Maker, then take the DAI that you got from the CDP and lock it into Compound. So Compound is another growing area of decentralized finance that's very cool. And then last on the lending list is Dharma, which I also spoke about. And they are also doing lending, but in a different way. So Dharma is a platform for building globally accessible lending products using programmable tokenized debt. It can support virtually any kind of lending product you can imagine. It is flexible, extendable, and live on the Ethereum mainnet. So they're more of a protocol. Compound is a protocol too, but it's more, they're a little bit different, and I don't want to dive too deep into the technicals of them, but they're both lending platforms for decentralized finance. Moving over to decentralized exchanges, we have Uniswap at 6.9 million, and that's also on the Ethereum blockchain. This is Uniswap, a simple smart contract interface for swapping ERC20 tokens, a formalized model for pooling liquidity reserves, an open source front-end interface for traders and liquidity providers, and a commitment to free and decentralized asset exchange. So this is a decentralized exchange specifically for ERC20 tokens on Ethereum. There are lots of ERC20 tokens and more to come, I'm sure. And as more token standards are built out on Ethereum, we will most likely see these DEXs add those standards to their platforms, and those will also allow to be traded. Decentralized exchanges are small at the moment, but they are growing, and they are the future, especially as Ethereum is scaled and moves up as far as speed goes, so that they're able to handle the liquidity and the speed that people are used to with the centralized exchanges. Kyber is also on here, which is obviously not nearly as big as Uniswap. They're at $274,000. They're another decentralized exchange. Kyber's on-chain liquidity protocol allows decentralized token swaps to be integrated into any application, enabling value exchange to be performed seamlessly between all parties in the ecosystem. Tapping on the protocol, developers can build payment flows and financial apps, including instant token swap services, ERC20 payments, and innovative financial dApps, helping to build a world where any token is usable anywhere. So one thing to point out with both Uniswap and Kyber is that they're not just decentralized exchanges where you hear exchange and you think of like Binance and Bittrex and Coinbase Pro. These can actually be used and programmed into applications, so you can do swaps and all sorts of things because they have open APIs on the Ethereum blockchain that you can tie into, which is pretty cool. Moving into derivatives, obviously derivatives are a huge. They're very huge in the legacy financial system, and they will probably continue to be huge in the decentralized financial system. So we have Augur that has $842,000 in assets locked. This is Augur here. And it's just like most derivative markets. It's pretty much betting on things. And I mean, I personally consider derivatives just like gambling, but not in a casino. So this is a lot of people were using it when it first launched. I believe traffic has gone down, but then it went back up recently, especially with Veil that launched. This is basically the future of derivatives. They pretty much allow you to predict, and then it allows you to do this on almost anything. I think it's a pretty good example of a derivative platform and what's possible with it, especially since it's decentralized. And it's another platform that will get better as the Ethereum layer 1 area gets faster. Moving on to Veil, they are new. Augur's been around for a while, but Veil is somewhat new. They have $75,000 in USD assets locked. And this is also prediction markets on everything by everyone. Veil is a peer-to-peer prediction market built on open protocols. create your own prediction markets. So very similar to Augur, the future of derivatives. Moving on to payments. Here's the one outlier that's not on the Ethereum blockchain. We actually have the Bitcoin Lightning Network. Actually, there's two outliers. We'll get to that under assets. But the Lightning Network is on here with $3.2 million locked in Bitcoin on the network. And I did a video, which is popping up on the screen now on the right-hand corner, about how the Bitcoin network works and why we need it, if you want to check that out. But the whole point of the Lightning Network is instant payments, lightning fast blockchain payments without worrying about block confirmation times. Security is enforced by blockchain smart contracts without creating an on-blockchain transaction for individual payments. Payment speed measured in milliseconds to seconds. Scalability, capable of millions to billions of transactions per second across the network. Capacity blows away legacy payment rails by many orders of magnitude. Attaching payment per action click is now possible without custodians. Low cost, by transacting and settling off blockchain, the Lightning Network allows for exceptionally low fees, which allows for emerging use cases such as instant micropayments. Cross blockchains, cross-chain atomic swaps can occur off-chain instantly with heterogeneous blockchain consensus rules. So long as the chain can support the same cryptographic hash function, it is possible to make transactions across blockchains without trust in third-party custodians. And there are quite a few chains that support SHA-256 that Bitcoin runs on. I believe that's what they're talking about. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that they're talking about the underlying cryptographic of Bitcoin itself. I prefer this website, 1ml.com. It shows the current growth of the Bitcoin Lightning Network. Currently, we have 7,378 nodes. We have 37,922 channels, and we have 991.18 Bitcoin, or $3,903,112.27 in USD that is locked into the Lightning Network capacity. So this continues to grow. And I explained this in the Lightning Network video, but the way that they're doing this is scaling it horizontally on layer 2 rather than making layer 1 of Bitcoin and modifying it faster. They're just moving it to another layer while keeping the security of the first layer in place for Bitcoin. And I don't disagree with that model. I definitely think layer 2 solutions can work. We're seeing the same thing on the Ethereum network with Plasma, and a lot of other blockchains are looking at layer 2 solutions. So this is definitely good stuff. Anything that will make Bitcoin faster is a good thing. The other one here is called XDAI, and this one's pretty interesting. I actually didn't know about this one until I just read about it. So XDAI chain is an Ethereum-based blockchain that uses USD stable XDAI, a representation of DAI token, as the native coin of the network. XDAI chain is a fast and cost-efficient blockchain solution that leverages the proof of autonomy consensus model. So looking at this a little further, it says right here how it's different than regular DAI. DAI is a stablecoin issued by the maker organization that is also pegged 1-to-1 to the US dollar. However, unlike XDAI, DAI is backed by Ethereum collateral. In order to create DAI tokens, an Ethereum holder would need to send their Ether to a CDP, thus creating a smart contract and allowing users to share value on the Ethereum blockchain. For more info, check out the DAI white paper on the Maker website, and then it shows why they created XDAI. XDAI is a USD stablecoin that is an exact representation of DAI, but lives on the XDAI chain instead of the Ethereum network. XDAI's peg will always remain 1-to-1 with USD and will serve as a native token on the XDAI chain. This means a stablecoin will be used as the currency for transaction fees on this new network. The only way to mint XDAI tokens is by taking DAI tokens and using the XDAI bridge to move them over from the Ethereum network using Ethereum network to the XDAI chain. The market cap for XDAI chain will update in real time and directly reflect how many XDAI tokens there are in existence. So reading this, it's actually the whole purpose here is right here. It says stablecoins that are created on the Ethereum network still rely on Ether to pay for transactions and gas. This is inconvenient for mainstream usage, as it means that for a user to pay in DAI, a stablecoin, they need to also pay Ether to cover the gas. The price of ETH is volatile and the network can be congested, which makes the gas prices different from day to day. With the XDAI chain, the user only needs to deal with DAI. With block times of 5 seconds, XDAI can be transferred between different users almost instantly and practically free. So what they did here is, for those of you that aren't familiar with Ethereum, when a token is moved from one wallet to another wallet, Ethereum has this thing called gas that actually gets burnt when that token is moved. And because that price of gas changes depending on how congested or how much traffic there is on the network. So in order to keep kind of a stable fee, they created their own blockchain specifically for DAI so that they can create a payment blockchain specific for DAI that doesn't have a fluctuating gas price for the movement of the tokens to different wallets. So it's something that I really never thought about, and it actually sounds like a good idea, especially since it does have that bridge and it is still staying decentralized, but it is removing that factor of the gas on the Ethereum network. It also keeps the traffic off the Ethereum network, kind of the same way that the Bitcoin Lightning Network keeps the all of those transactions off of the Bitcoin network by moving it to the Lightning Network. And the last item on here is wrapped Bitcoin, wrapped WBTC. This is an interesting one. This links back to Maker, because one of the things that I believe Maker is looking at with WBTC is using it for multi-collateral DAI. So let me just read this really quick. Introducing wrapped Bitcoin, WBTC. First, let me look at this. So there's only $287,000 worth of wrapped Bitcoin on the Ethereum network now, but as you imagine, WBTC is actually Bitcoin that is wrapped on the Ethereum network. So it's Bitcoin, but it's represented on the Ethereum blockchain as WBTC, which is like an ERC20 token that represents the actual coin that's on the Bitcoin blockchain. But this explains it a little bit better. Introducing Wrap Bitcoin, WBTC, a community-focused initiative to launch a Bitcoin ERC20 token on Ethereum by January 2019. The project is a culmination of a long-standing joint effort between BitGo, Kyber, and Republic Protocol, and will serve as important pieces of cross-chain infrastructure for the entire industry. WBTC leverages the Ethereum network to enable new applications and use cases for Bitcoin by combining the liquidity and widespread adoption of Bitcoin with the extensive smart contract developer ecosystem of Ethereum. This approach complements both ecosystems, utilizing their respective strengths, and expands Bitcoin usage by facilitating more decentralized use cases such as trading Bitcoin on decentralized exchanges, loans, and token payments, which is useful for everyone building in the space. So you can see here, and this is probably it's a top highlight on this article. WBTC utilizes a custodian model to implement the tokenization of Bitcoin on Ethereum. What that means is that for each WBTC minted into existence, there is an equivalent amount of Bitcoin held in custody in a 1-to-1 ratio. It is fully backed. The WBTC remains in circulation until the Bitcoin backing it is withdrawn and the equivalent WBTC is burnt. This method is similar to how True USD operates, TUSD, except that WBTC has the benefit of the ease of transparency, with all custodian funds being fully verifiable on chain. So this is just another example of how we're getting this cross-chain communication going on between the Bitcoin blockchain and the Ethereum blockchain, and how it all ties back into decentralized finance through, like it said here, by facilitating more decentralized use cases such as trading Bitcoin on decentralized exchanges, loans, and token payments. So that goes into Maker for loans. WBTC can be used as part of their multi-collateral system, multi-collateral DAI. Compound can use it here once it's they already have wrapped ETH on here. I'm sure they'll add WBTC as something that can be used for gaining interest on and loaning out. Same thing with Dharma. And then once it is on the Ethereum blockchain, it can also be used on the decentralized exchanges, both the Kyber and Uniswap exchanges. So they can trade, in addition to Ethereum and the ERC20 tokens, they can trade Bitcoin using WBTC. And then obviously Augur and Veil can use it for the derivatives market, and payment networks can also use it. So I thought this was a really good site to keep an eye on, so you can keep up with what's going on with decentralized finance, the current value locked into it, and who's kind of leading the way with DeFi. So I'll have the links to all these sites in the description. And also I'll have the links to the other two videos that I mentioned in this video. And yeah, I think that's it. Have a great day. Thank you.